Hello and welcome to HITC Sport. Right, a lot can change in 12 months. This time last year you never had to suffer my little face on camera every now and then. But today we're going to look at every current Premier League club's most expensive signing from last summer and rate them out of 10 1 year on. Nicolas Pepe, 5 out of 10. I think it's fair to say we were all a bit underwhelmed by Nicolas Pepe. Even the Arsenal fans who defended the Hills have to admit that he didn't quite live up to the hype. Sure, there was the odd stunning free kick and that wonder goal against Brighton, but a lot of the time he was just frustrating more than anything. In all competitions he got 8 goals and 10 assists, which is an alright tally, but considering he cost £72 million, I think it's only fair to expect a bit more from the Ivorian. Maybe in a more settled Arsenal team under Arteta he'll thrive in his second year like so many foreign imports, but for now it's a 5 out of 10 for Pepe. Wesley, 3.5 out of 10. An almighty collision with Ben Mee ended Wesley's debut season at Villa early, in a game where it looked like he was just coming of age. But for the most part the £22 million arrival was really struggling. Every time he would feel contact he would hit the deck and flap his arms in the air as if he was Tom Daly having a strop. He ended his first season with 5 Premier League goals, and maybe if he'd been fit Villa might have stayed up more convincingly, but he really needs to toughen up if he's going to be a Premier League striker. Seriously, the wind would knock him over at times. Neal MOPAY, 7.5 out of 10. I've got a lot of time for Neal MOPAY, simply because he's such a shithouse and he won me a ton of points en route to winning my Fantasy Football Draft League. The French striker netted 10 goals in his first season in the Premier League and gave Brighton something totally different up front compared to the slower than a beast slug Glenn Murray. The Bournemouth club spent a ridiculous amount of money on strikers last summer with limited success, but Neal MOPAY was certainly a hit. Even if he did make Bernd Leno very angry. I mean, I'd have been angry if I was him, but that's the way Neal MOPAY is. Give him an inch and he'll kick you up a height and try to get away with it. G. Rodriguez, 7 out of 10. As always, Burnley weren't very busy last summer, but their biggest deal was bringing J. Rodriguez back to the club for around £10 million. And despite being gone for a fair few years, it looked like he'd never been away at times. He got 8 league goals, which is a respectable tally considering he spent most of his time coming off the bench, and 2 of those goals were absolute crackers against Chelsea and Man United. It was a solid return to Turf Moor for J. Rodriguez, so he gets a rock solid 7 out of 10. Mateo Kovacic, 9 out of 10. While Chelsea have gone wild this summer like a kid high on sugar running around Toys R Us, that would be a bit smarter last year. The transfer ban was on, meaning Mateo Kovacic was the only player that could sign. But while at times he was just okay under Sarri, under Lampard he was a bit of a machine. He was here, there and everywhere in the Chelsea midfield, gliding with the ball, finding passes. He looked like the player we all thought he was back when he was at Inter Milan or even Real Madrid. A great signing, and actually one of the best from last summer in the entire Premier League. James McCarthy, 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 pretty much sums up James McCarthy, doesn't it? And that's not a diss. Christ, I'd love to be a 6 out of 10 every week. He gets out there, he does the dirty work, nothing flash, he gets the job done. For £3 million he's been a great signing, and I think Palace's fans gripe with the Irish international has more to do with Roy Hodgson's pragmatic approach rather than McCarthy himself. But for £3 million he's been a solid 6 out of 10. God, I hope his wife doesn't think he's a 6 out of 10 and all, that would be a bit depressing. Alex Iwobi, 2 out of 10. I like Alex Iwobi, he seems like a good bloke, but Everton spending £40 million on him was bloody madness. Even before he flopped, the fee was ridiculous. It was a stupid deadline day signing, it just reeked of desperation. First they were going for Zaha, then Lamar, and then somehow Everton ended up spending £40 million on another inconsistent ex-Arsenal winger. And that's exactly what he's been, ending his first season with 1 goal and 0 assists. Christ, I bet James Rodriguez can't wait to link up with his new teammates, knowing already he's got more talent in his little finger. Josh ONOMAH, 7 out of 10. Fulham weren't too busy last summer, bringing in loans and free agents after a dismal year in the Premier League where they threw more money around like KSI in a Sidemen video. So we're going to look to a free transfer in Josh ONOMAH, a man who arrived as part of the deal that saw Ryan Sessegnon go the other way to Tottenham. The former Spurs man has really kicked on in 2020, with Scott Parker getting more out of him than any manager has in the past, and that's including Mauricio Pochettino. ONOMAH played an important role in promotion, and Fulham will be looking to him for inspiration in their fight for survival back in the Premier League. Liam McCarron, can't really rate him. Like Fulham, Leeds were quiet last summer, focused on loan deals rather than spending big money on players who might not get them up. But they did sign a teenager from Carlisle, bringing in Liam McCarron for an undisclosed fee. He's one for the future, and I've literally never seen him kick a ball, so I simply can't grade him. Maybe when he breaks into the team we'll give him a rating, but right now it would be unfair to judge. YOURI TIELEMANS, 9 out of 10. The Belgian's loan deal became permanent at Leicester last summer, and what a signing he was. Tielemans is a class act in the middle of the park. He gets goals, assists, pre-assists if you're into that kind of crap. He's just brilliant. He's one of those players you'd pay good money to watch, and to be honest he could end up in an even bigger club than Leicester in a year or two's time. But he had a great first full season at the King Power and gets a big fat 9 out of 10. I'm sure he's thrilled. Let us know what you think in the comments below, Yuri. Sepp van den Berg, 3 out of 10. I mean, if I were you, I'd pay no attention to this rating of Sepp van den Berg. Like the Leeds lad, he was signing for the future. The only difference is I've actually seen him play in the Cup for Liverpool and he was far from convincing. But the Dutch team was still Liverpool's biggest signing last summer, which seems something of a risk after narrowly missing out on the title to City. 12 months on and they're Premier League champions, while people are once again criticising them for not spending any money. Give it a rest guys, there's more life than signing players, this isn't Football Manager. RODRI, 7 out of 10. He was City's biggest signing last summer, and I'll be honest, I expected a little bit more from him, but that might just be because of the fee and the man who he's been brought in to replace in years to come. But when you sit back and actually watch RODRI, he's top class in possession. He's very Spanish, that's the only way I can describe him. He keeps the ball in tight areas and moves it quickly, which is exactly what City want. And he can score a thunderbolt if he fancies it, but if my memory serves me correctly, he only ever seems to do it against Burnley. Harry Maguire, 5.5 out of 10. It's been a rough few weeks for Harry Maguire, and it's about to get even rougher. First the arrest, and now a less than stellar rating out of 10 from HITC Sport. Poor bloke's got no luck right now. But his debut season at Man United wasn't too great to be honest, yet somehow he's now captain of the entire club. With the money spent, you'd think he was going to be Van Dijk levels of good. Then less than a year later you had Roy Keane begging the Man United bus to leave him behind after Tottenham away. It's a bit harsh, Roy, it's only football. Joelinton, 1 out of 10. Big Joe, or Joe Linton as my girlfriend's mother thought he was called, has been absolute garbage. Hot, stinking garbage. A big bag of rubbish up front on his own would be better, but enough about Andy Carroll. Joelinton is Newcastle's record signing, £40 million, and he only scored twice in the league. He's had more hairstyles than goals, that's quite alarming. The number 9 hasn't settled at all, and Newcastle are already crying out for a replacement. To think, it would have been Mbappe if the takeover had happened. 2 minutes, I'm just off to scream into a pillow for the 18th time this week. Ollie McBurnie, 6 out of 10. Big time shagger Ollie McBurnie was an expensive signing for Sheffield United, and I guess it kinda worked out. Sure, he only scored 6 goals, but he certainly suited the system and played an important role in what was a shockingly good season for the Blades. Still though, 20 million quid for 6 goals is hardly amazing, but at least it was enough to impress that lass who gets her tits out on Twitter. Danny Ings, 10 out of 10. The undisputed best signing in this video, all rise for Sir Danny Ings. What a season this man had, scoring 22 times to narrowly miss out on the Golden Boot. It was the best season of his career, proving how good he can really be if he stays fit. The injury bother seems to be behind him right now, and I really hope he does the business again this season, as I really can't be asked to see him being labelled as a one season wonder in 12 months time. Tanguyndombele, 4 out of 10. I was buzzing when Tottenham signed Tanguyndombele, and then he bagged a goal in his debut. We were off to the races. I was ready to sing his praises all season long, as if I was Graham Souness talking about anyone that isn't Paul Pogba. Yet here we are 12 months later, and his Tottenham career already looks like it's over. Jose Mourinho's arrival hasn't helped, with the special one spending more time in his flourishing acting career than finding a way to get more of Tottenham's record signing. Kenneth Zohore, 2 out of 10. Kenneth Zohore was absolutely crap for West Brom last season, and that was in the Championship. He's got no chance in the Premier League. The sooner he's sold the better, because right now West Brom's forward line consists of the bloke who got that wonder goal against Belgium 4 years ago, a man who can turn into a blurred tribute act on a dime, and another who only scored 3 times in the second tier last season. Sebastian Haller, 4.5 out of 10. Our final big money striker who dropped on the deck and flopped like a fish as if he was some sort of SpongeBob SquarePants cosplay, I don't even know what that means. Sebastian Haller was far from convincing in his first season of English football. The goals didn't flow, and to be honest, West Ham didn't play it with strengths. He's a target man who gets the best out of players around him, that's why he was so good at Frankfurt. Maybe he'll pick up this season, but the first season was a bit of a bust for the Frenchman. And finally Raul Jimenez, 9.5 out of 10. I love Raul Jimenez, and I always have done ever since his Wolves debut when I realised he actually knows how to score goals. He became a permanent Wolves player last summer for £30 million and proved straight away that he wasn't just a flash in the pan. He got 17 Premier League goals, 27 in all competitions, proving to be an incredible signing for Wolves. It's just a shame they don't seem capable of signing anyone else. Come on lads, the season starts next week. So that's every Premier League club's most expensive signing from last summer rated 1 year on. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to HITC Sport. And until next time, we'll see you around.